Welcome back to Straight Facts with Big Steve. How are you, mates?
Good, mate. Very good. Yeah, thank you. You?
Can't complain. A couple of weeks until the Prem kicks off. Weather's not too bad. Transfer activity keeping us busy. Kids are healthy. So, yeah, mate, cannot complain at all. Viewers, I hope you're all well. Make sure like buttons are hit. Make sure you're subscribing and you have the bell notifications turned on as well. Loads to talk about today. Mohamed Kudus to Chelsea. Have Arsenal been hijacked in this deal, or could there be a sting in the towel? It's imminent, according to some reports online today. We're looking at Hojlund to Man United. Fabrizio confirming the first, let's say verbal offer's gone in, but we're just going to call it what it is. The first bid has gone in, around 60 million euros in totality. We're going to be talking about Joe Lewis and Tottenham and the turmoil at their club as their owner is arrested for insider trading. 20 plus years in prison if he is found guilty for these crimes. And I always wonder what would happen if this was the City owners or the Newcastle owners, the reaction the mainstream media in the UK would have. We're also going to talk a bit on City as well today. The Gvardiol deal, what's happening with it. City been in pre-season. Very impressive, I hear as well from Big Steve. But I did want to start with the Tottenham news. Actually, no, but the Man United news that's come out. The big bid that's come in regarding Hojlund. According to Fabrizio Romano, the bid is in the region of 60 million euros, 50 million plus 10 of add-ons for this young striker. He's rejected Paris Saint-Germain's offer as well. He wants to be a Man United player. Thoughts on this, bro?
Yeah, I think United need a striker. It's well documented that they need a new number 9 up there. Martial's floating around like a bad smell. Been there years, done fuck all. They definitely need somebody. I mean, this kid, he's got potential. You know, you look out there in the striker market right now, and there's not a lot about, you know what I mean? There's not a lot about, not anyone who Manchester United sort of level without breaking the bank. So if they can get this lad in for 60 million, whatever it is, then yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Let him work with Ten Hag, let him try and improve. They've always gone for a little bit of an older striker recently, trying for the quick fix. It's not really worked. Ibrahimovic was all right, you know what I mean? He did well, he's class, but they need someone they can work with. And especially now he's got his goalkeeper in and he's tinkering around, getting his system right. You know, he's only been there a year, you know what I mean? He's one of these managers where it's going to take time. If he gets his striker in, he can work with him and that. Why not? I think he's a good signing. Yeah, they definitely need someone like him, 100%.
Mate, I've said it for a few weeks now. Only 9 goals last season, so people are focusing on that without doing any research on him. And the fact that most experts, and I always advocate, read the scouting reports before Man United were linked to him. Because if you go on a Man United website now that's run by a Man United fan, they're going to make him sound amazing. Of course, we understand that. This kid's expected to blow up this year. And I want us to bring him in 50 million euros, so around 40 million pounds as a base fee in 2023 for a very highly rated young striker. I think is brilliant business from our point of view. We're also in the process of making some sales at Man United, and I've seen a lot of the Love United, Hate Glazer accounts who I truly believe in my heart of hearts, and there's proof of some of them. I've tweeted a few of them out today, where you can tell they're Liverpool fans from the past with things they've tweeted about Liverpool, but they've changed their names and they're making themselves United fans. They're actually attacking Man United for trying to get good money for players in sales. They're attacking the club and saying, trying to get 45 million for McTominay is disgraceful. And if you're supporting this, you're just supporting giving the Glazers money. And I sort of sit there and think, these are the same fans who have cried for a decade that we've undersold our players. They're now crying that we're trying to get good quality money. The reason that the Cities and the Chelseas and other clubs can keep spending is because you don't get a lot of money for the players you sell. You know, that kind of counterbalance in the FFP is so important. And if those stories of what we're looking to get for McTominay's, Fred's, Henderson's, Maguire's, you're looking at 100 to 220 million pounds of money being brought into the club. And I think you sign a Hojlund now, Amrabat looks like it's going to get done for about 19 million. I think that will leave us with enough money to potentially then go for Harry Kane. So you add those 2 attackers to our team, that puts 30 to 40 goals onto our team this season. which puts, listen, you're still the favourites, 110% City, but it puts Man United firmly in that race. And yeah, this is just another piece of the jigsaw, because I think it's been a brilliant summer so far for us in the transfer market. I'm really impressed with the types of players, the amount of money we're spending, and the direction that we're going in. So yeah, look, as a United fan, excited, but pressure on the team. We have to go and start delivering. We have to keep getting better. None of this 3 or 4 years to start challenging for Premier League titles. I'm not about that. This is Man United, and we're spending money, got a very good manager, building a very good squad. So we should have big expectations on our team to deliver, Steve. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's well documented. United's wasted money the last 10 years, wasted it. They've not been short of it. They've spent it, but they've wasted it. They've gone down about 7 different paths with 3 or 4 different managers trying to rebuild squads and go down different routes. It's not worked. And they got Ten Hag in. You know, the brand of football he played at Ajax was an attractive football. But that kind of football, you can't just go to a club and wave a magic wand and expect them players to play that style. Some of them players haven't got it in them. You know what I mean? We find players at City now, when Pep changes a system, that they can't do it. Kyle Walker, for example, can't play an inverted fullback. He's tried it. He can't do it. Cancelo can't do it. Rico Lewis can. He's 18 years old. He's been in the academy. He's learned it. So Ten Hag with the goalkeeping situation, I keep going on about it. I think that's the big part of the jigsaw for United, the goalkeeping situation. I always said that Man United, if you press them hard enough, you're going to get the ball back within 5 minutes, because it's either going to go to Maguire and he's going to put it out for a throw-in, or De Gea's going to hit it long and give it you back. With Onana, I don't think that happens. I think he's going to be calm. I think the defence will get confidence in him. I think you'll start seeing Man United defenders taking a risk at the back, but it'll pay off in the end. You know what I mean? They might make a few mistakes. You can't panic with it. But the striking situation's important. It's all right playing this fancy football, but if you're toothless up front, nobody cares. You can pass everyone to death, but if you get beat 2-0 because you've missed your chances, then there's no point. So it's great having a goalkeeper. It's great, shoring up the defence and getting the midfield looking with Casemiro and Bruno and that looking all right. But if you've got someone up front that can't finish his dinner, then it ain't going to work. So this kid's young. He's hungry. He's getting a step up from Atalanta, coming to Man United. This is his big chance. And yeah, I mean, I look at the strikers out there, and other than people like Osimhen and Harry Kane, where you've got to go and throw loads of dough at it, it seems reasonable money. So, but when you mentioned Harry Kane, I do believe that there's going to be a twist in the Harry Kane situation. I can see the end of this window, something happening with Kane and him getting out of Tottenham, whether that's Man United, whether it's Bayern Munich, whether it's Chelsea. I can just see Harry Kane late in this window going.
Mate, so can I. And listen, it might not be Man United. I hope it is. But I was just doing the maths on it earlier today and going back and looking at what a lot of what the credible journalists were saying 3 or 4 weeks ago. They were saying United have about 150 million pounds to spend. And then you start looking at the transfers and the total costs, and not the add-ons and the bonuses, because they're not being paid this year. The total, Man United had around 150 million pounds to spend this summer. When you start adding it up, 42 for Onana, 42 million for Rasmus Hojlund, 55 million for Mount, and this sort of 20 million fee for Amrabat, I think we're bringing in 4 top quality players at different stages of their careers for around that 150 mark. We're then looking around about 100 to 120 million pound of sales. Now, Man United haven't ever. I've gone back to 2009. We have never, if we sell these players for these prices, it's the most amount of money we've ever made in any summer for selling players. We made and by the way, the biggest summer we ever had in terms of raising funds was actually the summer we sold Ronaldo in 2009 for 95 million. Every other, we had a big summer when, a decent summer when Di Maria left, pretty decent when Lukaku left, but it was because of those fees. Outside of that, it's pitiful the value that we sell people on for. If we raise 100 million even for the sale of those individuals, that is the money that I believe we'll use to go in for Kane. Whether we land him or not is another debate, because Bayern Munich are very confident they can do it. But that's what we need to be. And if we do that, I'll be so impressed. And I don't like to praise the way Man United are run or how we operate and do business, because it's been done poorly for so long. However, when you see it operating in the correct way, I can't just sit there and ignore it and be and like pretend to still be annoyed and have like fake anger. That is what I've been asking for. And I've said for a long time, I don't think we'll ever be successful again with the Glazers owning us unless they completely change the way the football club is operated. And right now, just the way we're doing things in the transfer market, I'm impressed with. And there's loads of other areas that still need to improve. And I'm not protecting them and saying the club has completely changed. It hasn't. I'm still very fearful that in 12 months, 18 months time, they could pull the rug from under the manager's feet, stop us from spending. I still think training facilities need to be improved. The state, all of that still needs to happen. But there are isolated areas where I can clearly see us working better. So yeah, I'm very happy. And I do think Harry Kane is achievable for Man United. And I think if we get him, like I said earlier, he scores 25 to 30 goals in the league for Man United next year. Hojlund comes in and has 10 to 15 goals. You add 30 or 40 goals to Man United, we're in the title race. That's, in my personal opinion, that's going to generate 15 plus more points for us. Without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, it is. Defensively, we were very good outside of 2 or 3 games where we hemorrhaged lots of goals. But outside of that, we actually had more clean sheets than anybody else in the league. So we know we can do it. You create a better midfield with Amrabat and Mount joining. You have a better goalkeeper, which, as you said, stops the press. Man United become a far more potent and dangerous opposition. However, I still say City and I still say Arsenal, as of right now, should be seen as favourites ahead of us. But I think we'll join that party if we bring those signings in. So, yeah, for me, and I love what Twisted Bubba says here. He says hypothetical FC. But that's what football predictions are, my friend. Everything about a football prediction is somewhat hypothetical, especially when you're in the transfer window. So, yes, you are right. And if we get rid of hypotheticals and if, buts, and maybes, you're killing 85%, 90% of all football conversations ever. So, yes, it definitely exists. And, yeah, I do believe that Hojlund can get 10 to 15 goals next season. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Top-class player. So, yeah, you can laugh all you want, but you're not providing me with any kind of counterbalance or argument or debunking what I'm saying. You're just laughing. That's not an argument. That means shit. I can't debunk what he says. So thank you, but nice try. Anthony says, worst bias take ever. I mean, calling me, of all people, bias is weird. With the way I praise so many other teams and so many other clubs, to call me bias is very strange in my opinion. But there we go. Speaking of that, did you see United versus Arsenal the other day? Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, no. I just got up this morning and seen he got whacked off Wrexham, so I don't know what went on there. I've not seen that one either, so I don't know what's going on with that.
That was our under-23 team. That wasn't the first team.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that was the kids. That was the kids.
Well, your kids should really be beating Wrexham, to be fair.
Maybe. I've said it before. Listen, we've got a couple of good, talented kids, but some Man United fans overhype too many of our kids. Like, Mainu is brilliant. Dan Goy actually got sent off, is okay. Outside of that, like, I've watched them play a few times. None of them, not Hannibal's okay, but he's with the first team. So the good ones are with the first team. They weren't even playing in the youth team last night. So yeah, but the Arsenal fans didn't take it very well, losing to Man United.
They lost twice, didn't they, in the same game? Got beat 2-0 and then got beat on pens. So the only thing I can say about that game is before the game, apparently Declan Rice is the second coming of, I don't know, Zidane. So we're waiting for this big arrival. And then they get beat off United. And then I'm hearing people saying, well, we got kicked off the park and we missed Granit Xhaka. And I'm like, hold on a minute. You just bombed Xhaka out the door because you wanted him out of there. And now Man United are coming to town and booted you a few times. You're missing Granit Xhaka. Where's Declan Rice booting people back? Do you know what I mean? I watched Man City Bayern Munich today. Bayern Munich started getting smart, mate. Kovacic and Calvin Phillips and the boys just rattled a few cages. So they didn't boot us off the park. And you know what I mean? But I don't know. It's that soft underbelly, innit? It's all loud and exciting from the outside and aggressive. But when you really get into it, it's playtime, innit? Man United are coming to town and booting you off the park, then you've got a problem. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It is what it is. It's pre-season, but you know, every other fan base is chilled and relaxed pre-season, but we've got to listen to the nonsense online about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, and they're going to win the league and all that. But like I say, you can talk the talk all you want on these channels. It's when you get on the pitch that you do it. You know what I mean? Gabriel Jesus has just admitted in a press conference today that they shit themselves last season from Man City, but they were telling you lot online, driving past pubs, winding the window down, beeping the horns to all the fans and telling everyone they were going to, you know, the Arsenal train was here. And deep down, they were all shitting themselves in the dressing room. So there's a long way to go yet. Let the season start. You know, they're saying we're getting weaker, Man City are weak. They haven't made any signings. They're going down the pan and all that. Well, you know, we're happy over here. We don't need signings. Pep Gvardiol tells me that my team's finished and we don't need anyone. I'm agreeing with him. That's how comfortable we are. But yeah, I think you were upset. They were fighting amongst themselves in the crowd. Did you see that as well?
Wait, do you know what it is? There's a lot of Arsenal fans who watch the Terrace that just took it in their stride. But it was the overreaction to the Sandro's tackle. I thought there was absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. And we all know when United, Arsenal, City United, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, City, when any of us play each other in pre-season, it's competitive because we are Premier League rivals. We're part of the top six, and there's something riding on it. There's a bit of confidence and a bit of bragging rights. And we saw the build up to the game. Both sets of fans, both managers, both clubs painted this as more than a friendly. We even had Jess came on, Guna, did Straight Facts on Friday, or might have even been Saturday, one of the days. And she was literally sitting there and saying, I really hope, you know, there's some strong tackles and we go in hard and we show United what. But for people to be like creating compilations and sending in complaints to the FA, even the FA weren't refereeing the game, I thought it was very weird, very strange. The whole We Miss Xhaka thing, again, was a very strange one to me.
That was worse than when the Queen died. They lost the title because the Queen died. They got beat because they didn't have Granit Xhaka. I've heard it all now. The guys were rapping outside the stadium at fucking 4 a.m. with a load of backing dancers last week, the AFTV mob. Now they're blaming it on Xhaka. So, but I can't wait for it, mate. I can't wait for it. Like I say, there's a mentality problem there, whether they want to admit it or not. There is. You know, you can't go that many games in a season undefeated and get yourself in front and then crumble like they did. They're the only ones to blame. It's all right calling me bald and Big Steve don't know what he's talking about. Big Steve told you what was going to happen and you didn't listen. So we'll see. Like I say, they've got the players they want. There's no excuse. There's no hiding from Arteta now. He's got the money. They gave him who he wanted. He's had 2 good windows. Yeah. He's been there, 4 or 5 seasons now. He's won one FA Cup. Is that good enough for Arsenal? We'll see. And this season, they're talking the talk now. The players are talking it. They don't think there's a bigger gap between them and Man City. That's fine. But we won 3 trophies. They won 0. They're rattled to fuck in the chat, dying, killing themselves over me, Big Steve, Bald Ed, giving them grief every week. But I love it. It's only on air, though. Only on air. It's only the Arsenal fans on air that I rattle. When I'm on other channels, they're quite respectful. But I like rattling them on air. They can't handle it.
Yeah, listen, I think, look, when it comes to Arsenal, we're going to talk about their transfers a little later. I think they've got a very good team. I just think they have overreacted. Look, you're going to get trolled online. There's going to be banter online. There's going to be memes and clips. The difference between the two teams in terms of the game, we were the better team in the first half. They were probably better than us in the second. There was you could argue their goalie should have saved the first shot, but it was a very powerful, very good low shot from Bruno. The second one, again, a good goal, but a mistake from Gvardiol. So there was a couple of mistakes that separated the two teams. I just didn't see the need for an overreaction. I just looked at some of the patterns of play from United and some of the elements I thought were good. I thought their biggest issue was more Kai Havertz just looks really worried, scared, off the mark, off the pace in the game. But the levels they went, there was Arsenal fans I follow and respect who were creating kind of theses. Is it theses? Thesis, not thesis. Thesis is a lump of shit. Well, it was that really about it was this long-winded thread, thousands of words. This could have been a dissertation at uni about Lissandro only did what he did because he has little man syndrome. And I'm like, imagine creating a fucking dissertation on Lissandro having little man syndrome because of a clean legal tackle in a football match. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
The size of Jurriën Timber. It's the same size as Lissandro. I don't hear anyone talking about little men syndrome now with him, but we'll see this season. But that's what that's what they're like. They have got a good team. I told them that they had a good team and they respected it. But what all I said was, you haven't got the mentality to win the league. But they was questioning our mentality, saying Manchester City haven't got what we've got. you're not the same. Kevin De Bruyne's not the same. And all these people in the chat that say that never got said, it got said. I've seen it online myself from the Arsenal fan base. So do you want me to sit here and pretend that didn't happen? Do you want me to sit here and pretend that they didn't abuse me all season because they were top of the league? So I'm sorry, you got to take your medicine. If you're not quite good enough and you bottle, if it was the other way around, Terry, and City were top of the league for 250 days and we bottled the league, they would never, ever be off me. They'd be on me all the time because that's how they are. But when you get on their case, they don't like it because it's deep, it's still raw. They can't handle the fact that they threw it away. Nobody else did. They threw it away. Their arses fell out at the end of the season. And that is all that happened. So this season, they've got the players they want. They've got the best midfielder in world football, Declan Rice. You know what I mean? He's the best now, according to them. They've got Timber. They've got Kai Havertz, who all of a sudden, his Chelsea career, no one talks about that now. He's a new player. So go and win the league then, innit? Go and win the league. You've got everyone you want. Man City have lost Gundogan. We're going to lose Walker. We've signed Kovacic. We've got nobody else. We're struggling, apparently. So I'm expecting Arsenal to go out there, wipe the floor with the league, and they can all give me as much shit as they want then. But until that day, they need to pipe down, as it's going to be another long season, and they're going to end up getting the medicine again like they got last year.
There we go. More on Arsenal a little bit later in the show. We're going to be talking some of the transfers that they're involved in and everything else. But I wanted to get your take on staying in North London, and Gooners are watching. I'm sure I want your opinions on this as well in the comment section. But of course, Tottenham are, and this, Debbie puts this in the super chats actually, talking about how the situation with Joe Lewis, and I don't know if everybody has seen this, but Joe Lewis, the owner of Tottenham Hotspur, has been indicted, and he has handed himself into a police station in the United States and has been arrested for insider trading. There's a full article in The Athletic that you should read. But the big point for me is, a lot of Spurs have played this down, and they have stated that essentially this is nothing to do with Tottenham. It's a legal matter with the owner and the US, and it's nothing to do with us, and they're not going to comment on it. But according to, when you read the article in The Athletic, very in-depth article, according to some criminal lawyers, so some, not criminal lawyers, but financial crime lawyers, they state that this issue for them and for Joe Lewis is very serious, and that Tottenham now have some serious questions to ask themselves in terms of the ownership structure. Should they now be looking to sell? You also have to look at the Premier League in terms of fit and proper persons test. This is a huge crime that he is alleged to have committed. You're talking 20 plus years in prison for the value and the type of crime that he has committed of insider trading. This is a terrible day for Tottenham. It definitely could impact them. For me, if you're investigating that element of his life of financial crime, you've got to investigate his company in ENIC. You've got to investigate all the business, because Spurs have done some brilliant business deals, right? That all needs to be investigated now as well. And I'm just keeping the same energy, because if this was Newcastle and their owners, if this was City and their owners, if it was Man United when we got taken over by the Qataris, people would be absolutely demanding a full investigation by FIFA, UEFA, the Premier League in ensuring that, by the way, Tottenham, they generate now almost more money than anybody else in England in terms of revenues. The fact that their owners, their principal owner, is now...
See what you just said there, yeah?
Financial crime, it needs to be investigated 100%.
You said Tottenham generate more money than nearly everyone. I seen that the other day, yeah? Where's the outcry? Because when City do it, they say, how can Manchester City do that? Because you can't sell more shirts than Real Madrid. You can't sell more than this. You can't sell more than that. Well, I'm sorry, Man City's been the most successful team in this country for the last 12 years. We just played in Japan in a stadium, 60, 70,000 people. There was 2,000 Bayern Munich fans. The rest were City fans. So anyone that wants to sit there saying Man City ain't growing, all these glory hunters from all around the world are buying thousands of shirts and that. But Tottenham, how are they doing it? Because Tottenham haven't won a trophy. They won the Costa del Sol trophy in '87, and that doesn't generate 300 million quid. But nobody's questioning it because it's Tottenham and nobody's asked. But when it's Man City, there's a big hoo-ha. If Man City get the word cheating or financial irregularities, everyone's on Man City. You're guilty, you're guilty. But now Tottenham owner's been arrested. It's been arrested. So where's the same energy? Where's this cheating allegations? Are they going to give the Costa del Sol trophy back in 1987? Is that going back to the Costa del Sol? That's what I want to know, Terra.
Mate, and listen, this is the thing, that they need to investigate it to ensure that everything that Tottenham are doing is legal, above board. They need to make sure that there is no that's what I'm looking for. That
Look at the chat. It's concerts from the NFL and the stadium. Yeah, of course it is, mate. Have you seen the concerts at the Etihad? Have you seen the concerts at the Etihad? Every summer, 5 or 6 concerts, Coldplay, Harry Styles, everything. They've even built their own concert stadium outside the Etihad to 25,000. You know what I mean? These people ain't got a clue. They just make excuses. It's all bullshit at the end of the day. But give the same energy to Tottenham. Wonder why their turnover's higher than your own clubs. They must be cheating, right? That's what everyone's saying. They must be cheating. Or is it good business?
Absolutely. And this is the only point I'm making. The financial crimes that Joe Lewis has been alleged to have committed. Firstly, he may not have done them. So he has to be given a fair trial. But the Premier League, the FA, UEFA and FIFA have to investigate Tottenham's financial business as a matter of course. You must do it. In any other walk of life, it would happen. If you're at work today and you work for a bank and then you're arrested for a potential crime, especially if it's financial, say you work in a bank and you're arrested outside and it's nothing you've alleged to have done in the bank you work for, your bank is going to investigate your behavior at work. What have you been doing? They're going to investigate what you've been logging into. What have you been doing? They're going to check. They're going to get internal investigations to investigate you as well. You have to do it. So when it comes to the governing bodies of football, which is essentially the UEFA, FIFA, they have to look at Tottenham. Tottenham may not have benefited at all from any of these potential financial crimes that he's committed, but they can't just ignore it, bury their heads in the sand and say it's nothing to do with us. Of course it is. Your principal owner has just been arrested for a crime that could see him spend, because of his age, the rest of his life in prison. It needs to be investigated. And I just think the same energy should be kept, because we would definitely do it if it was owners from the Middle East. We would definitely do it if it was owners from the continent of Africa. So why not if they're from America? Why not if they're from Europe? We've done it to owners from Asia in the past. We must do the same thing. Tottenham need to be investigated, because we need to know that the league is being run integrally. We need to know that Tottenham are not generating money through any ill-gotten gains to prop up what it is they're trying to achieve. And
I don't think anyone's asked. I don't think anyone's bothered about Tottenham, because they don't win anything. They don't come anywhere near anyone. They don't do anything. Nobody's asked. Let them cheat. If they want to cheat, let them cheat. I'm not asked. If Tottenham are cheating and then they're not winning anything, then they're not even good at fucking cheating. So let them cheat. You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm not bothered. I just care what my own club do. Somebody said in the chat that Manchester City Council get the concert revenue. They don't. They don't. It was all renegotiated. Man City play a flat fee for the Etihad Stadium. Everything above and beyond that goes to Manchester City. So know your facts. You can't come on here and talk shit to me about Man City.
When there's a Beyonce concert, the person who gets the most amount of money for that concert is Beyonce. Like Beyonce is getting that money and her record label and everything else first and foremost. But yeah, look, it definitely needs to be investigated. It's a dark, horrible day for Tottenham, for your owner to kind of go through that. And yeah, it's definitely going to be, in my opinion, a worry for them. And it should be a worry for Tottenham fans. It absolutely should. But viewers, let us know what you think and what you feel. We had some super chats from earlier. First one from an Arsenal fan here says that Arsenal are living rent-free in Baldy's head.
Well, that's good, because he just spent $2 to tell me that. So who's living in whose head? Because I haven't paid you to put that. You've just paid to put that to me. So I'm living in his head, innit? Thanks for the super chat, by the way. Appreciate that.
Keep them coming, Arsenal Fever. This here says, Lol Jesus said they felt nervous in the title race, is what Fuad's Army says here.
Yeah, well, basically, that's what I said. You shit yourself. It's just the same, but in, press terms.
It's true. Yeah, in PR terms.
Yeah, he's not going to come out and say we shit ourselves, is it? And he's a shitbag. But basically, we all know that's what happened. So whether you want to sugarcoat it and use them words, you can. But I'm telling you the truth. Your ass fell out and you lost the league. Simple as that.
Kevin Jimenez says, does this affect Spurs' transfers. No, this won't affect Spurs in the short term at all. And in my personal opinion, I would say they've probably not benefited from any of this if these alleged crimes have happened. But they need to be investigated because we as football fans need to know that they have done nothing wrong. We need to know categorically. So there needs to be an internal investigation and one conducted by the legal authorities, in my opinion. It says a lot when this is the first time fans have ever heard of Joe Lewis. He's that terrible of an owner. If he goes to prison, then nothing changes. Yeah, I know he's not. I know you don't like him, Cal. I know you're a very honest Spurs fan. Look, there is talk that this could force them to sell. So this could end up being a silver lining for Tottenham. This could benefit you greatly if you get good owners take over. But if you're forced to sell and it's kind of done through, you've got to speed it through. Maybe not. But yeah, but it'd be interesting to see how it goes. This here from Amir says, Man City didn't have the mentality to win the Champions League until they did win it. The moment we, Arsenal, win the league, we'll have the mentality.
Great.
Steve.
There's nothing else to say to that, is there? You know what I mean? We was getting to Champions League finals and semi-finals, so we had the mentality to get there. We just didn't win the games. But you've been nowhere near the league title, nowhere near it. And when you finally did get near it, your ass fell out and you shit yourself. So I'm right in what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So thanks for the super chat.
This here says Banter, Wrexham, United FC, Manchester is blue. Yeah, I mean they beat our under 23 team with Johnny Evans playing at the back because we actually don't have enough players to fill that team at the minute for one reason or another. So yeah, personally, I can't speak for every Man United fan. I was not moved. I was not moved. I was like, great. It didn't bother me at all. Simba, thank you very much for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. There was a player once, right, who played for Leyton Orient, and his name was Simba. And this guy was amazing, right? I need to remember his name now. Leyton Orient, Simba. There was a player that played for them. I want to remember his name. Amari Simba. Man's old now. He's born in 1961. So he's 61 years old. He played for Leyton Orient between 98 and 2000. So man was he was old. He was like in his late 30s. He would have been old then. And he actually had played a few games for France in the 90s. And he came and played for Leyton Orient. And he did bits. He was really good for them. Anyway, sorry. I digress massively. Don't people forget Terry used to be a baldy too. I did used to be bald. And then my hair miraculously grew back. I don't know how it came back. Debbie here says the season didn't even start and Spurs are bottling it already. Yeah, can you imagine? Rumor is that Jassim is going to go for Spurs. If true, Terry is in the mud. The likelihood of this happening is like Big Steve growing dreadlocks. Yeah, listen, if Spurs get the Qatari owners that I want, I mean, I won't be in the mud. I'll just be gutted because they'll have owners that are going to take their club to another level. Terry, if you didn't support United, it would have been Orient, wouldn't it? Yeah, listen. So me and my brothers, we all used to get free season tickets to Orient from the school we went to. We all in. If you were in the football teams at our school, you got free tickets to Leyton Orient. So we used to go because where I lived on my estate, I lived in tower blocks, and my tower block I didn't even need a season ticket. My tower block looked at the whole pitch. I could see the whole pitch from my bedroom. Like that's how close I lived to Leyton Orient. But I'd already picked Man United, and I used to be at the game, and it used to stress me out. There's no phones back then. I didn't know what the Man United score was, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because I didn't, at home we'd have teletext or you'd have grandstand on. Even when I started doing this, even Soccer Saturday didn't even exist. And I enjoyed Leyton Orient, but I wanted to know about Man United, and they used to do the half-time and full-time results at Leyton Orient for the Premier League, and all I cared about the whole 90 minutes was what's the score with Man United. So I was never going to stop it. I couldn't do it. I love Man United, and yeah, but if I hadn't picked Man United, then yeah, probably Leyton Orient would have been the team. Like my big brother and my youngest brother are both Leyton Orient fans. Huge discrepancy between matchgoers and keyboard warriors when it comes to Arsenal. Do you agree with that, Steve?
It's a weird fan base, isn't it? You know what I mean? Weird. So I don't know. They got AFTV says one thing, dancing in the street. I've got a lot of good Arsenal fans that I speak to regularly who are like realistic and just realise the club's going in the right direction without putting too much pressure on the team. You got Don Robbie coming out saying that they asked everybody, would they swap Martinelli for Mbappe? And they said no. And then you've got troops outside the stadium saying, I grabbed Edu and said, sign Mbappe. So they're a bit confused, that lot. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're doing over there. I don't know if they're taking drugs or anything like that. I don't want to condone drugs, but they need to lay off the spice and chill out and that. But yeah, it's weird over there. I don't even want to get involved. It's weird. You know what I mean? I just want to see that dancing outside the stadium. That finished it for me. And if these Arsenal fans come on here and say they don't speak for us, well, why don't someone grab Cecil and throw him in a bin or something outside the ground and go and hide him, because he's just embarrassing the lot of you, you know what I mean? So don't be getting on my case, because if there was City fans dancing outside the stadium about Kovacic with blue pom-poms and shit, you lot would all be ripping me apart, and we go and find him and fill him in. So it is where it is.
Yeah, it's
yeah, look, is that normal? Is that normal? Am I not allowed to banter that? The rival fans not allowed to call Arsenal out for this shit. They got a full-on backing dancing fucking troupe there. Look. He did the Christmas T-shirt, which was bad enough, made him look at a bad, and this is even worse.
It's good dancing, though.
He can move, man. I tell you what, I wish I could move like that, but you know what I mean? Save it for a nightclub when you've won the league, man, not when you sign Declan Rice.
I love the ending when he does the front flip. I love the ending and you know, the shoulder roll. I swear he does like the front flip. Boom. I love it.
Look, he's signing his hand like he signed a contract, a 5-year deal.
Yes. SMUG, bro. Love it. I love it. I enjoy it. I just see it as like fun.
Look at the comments though. What is wrong with that? He's supporting his team. I've supported my team for 40 years. Won Premier Leagues, European Cups and trebles. I have never done a fucking moonwalk when I signed a player outside the ground, ever. I've never done it. So don't tell me that's supporting your team. That's weird shit when you've never won out. If they won the treble and he did that, I'd say fair play. The man's happy. He's won the treble. He's bouncing outside the Emirates. He's won 0. And they're dancing like that. It's a grown man, that. It's a grown man. It's not a kid. Come on. Don't be trying to defend it online and wonder why your fan base is getting ripped apart when you're condoning shit like that. You know what I mean? What does Lee Gunner think of this dance? I'm interested to see what Lee thinks. Or should I go there?
Mate, yeah, don't go there. What Lee said on camera was bad enough. What he texted me, I was like, fucking hell, bro, chill out. Like, I'll tell you off camera what he said. I was like, geez, like he and a few gooners that I know were just seething with it. And everyone knows I support AFTV. I love what they do. Love the boys over there. I get on very well with Robbie. I get on well with Cecil. But some are like a few of my friends that are Arsenal fans that are not online, nothing, because they know I kind of know them. They come at me. They're like, what are you fucking pricks doing? This is my club. I get embarrassed. He said, I go to work and one of them works on a building site, goes, I'm getting bantered and abused on a building site because of these guys. And I'm like, it's nothing to do with me, bro. It's nothing to do with me. Yeah, crazy. Absolutely crazy stuff there. Viewers, keep hitting the like button for us. Keep subscribing to the channel as well. This here says, Steve, I'm an Arsenal fan and I cook my fans, is what LJ says here.
Respect it, man. I respect the ones that are cooking from the inside. You know what I mean? So fair play.
Kevin here says,
yeah, I bet him at Christmas that he won't win the league. Give me the shirt. He never gave me the shirt. So there you go. They even re-engage on bets, whatever you say. You know what I mean? So it's not even worth it. I think he's auctioning it for charity. In fact, he's auctioning the shirt for charity. So
no, he owes it to Steve's. You've got to give it to Cecil.
I wanted it for the office wall, man, but he's not having it, man.
I got to say, Cecil, I love you, bro. But if you lost that bet, you've got, and the viewers here, you get on to Cecil. No abuse. Keep it clean. If you're abusing him, you're a dickhead. But get on to Cecil. He owes Steve that shirt. He should pay up.
I think they've auctioned it off. I think they auctioned it off for charity or something, which I don't mind charity, so fair enough. But yeah, man, I thought he's going to get his head down this season after that T-shirt thing. You know what I mean? He's going to be quiet this season. And then, boom, Rice, baby gets busted out. And I was like, this guy does himself no favours, man. No favours.
Spice FC, about as useful as shampoo for Robbie, is what Terry Tibbs says here. Arsenal Forever says 115 charges without oil. Your club is a joke.
Yeah, but we got a Champions League and a treble, our kid, and we ain't dancing outside the stadium to Rice, Rice, Baby.
Is AFTV Rice Baby a single for children in need? Don't know.
Could be. It could be.
Could be. They could raise some money. I promise you, Steve, if I see Cecil, I'm dashing him in the bin.
Get him in the bin, man. Get him in one of them big industrial bins outside the ground. Get him in there.
Speaking of Arsenal, there's big talk about the Mohamed Kudus deal. Chelsea focusing, sort of honing in on that to kind of get it done and over the line. There's talk of Arsenal trying to also land him and hijack it. But the report from Miguel Delaney today is that Chelsea are just going to blow Arsenal out the water financially. They're just going to pay so much money, offer such good wages that Arsenal can't compete. But first of all, on the player, like, what do you make of Mohamed Kudus?
Good player, yeah. He seems, a good player for Ajax and that. Got something about him. He'd be a good addition to the Premier League. I don't know. Do Arsenal need him? Do you know what I mean? Do Arsenal need him? Chelsea, we just don't know what's going on there. They're just sort of gathering players. But I don't know. I think Arsenal are going to sign somebody else. I've just got a feeling. But are they missing a striker? Is Jesus going to do it for him? Kai Havertz, is he going to do it? Eddie Nketiah? Do they keep Balogun? Give him a run? I don't know. But I don't know. Kudus, I mean, it's sometimes with the Dutch league as well. You look at players and they look outstanding over there. When they come to the Premier League, they're not quite at it. So it's always a gamble. But I don't know. Chelsea's been quiet, haven't they, for a couple of weeks now? They must have something brewing.
They have to have something brewing, Chelsea, because their own manager has come out and now said he's a bit worried about the experience in his team going into next year. Caicedo isn't done. They're not really signed Jackson, who looks. I've watched some of their preseason, and he looks decent, but it's not enough in terms of. Well, I still think they'll improve next season if they just keep this squad now. They'll get better, but they need to bring some players in, and the Premier League kicks off, bruv, in 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, and it starts, and we all know how important a good start is. And my worry for what's the word I'm looking for? My worry for Chelsea is if they start poorly, all the players, including the young ones that were there last year, it's if that confidence gets damaged again. Any confidence they build up in preseason could be knocked by a slow start to the season. And the fact their manager is also now saying that they are, he's concerned about the lack of experience. That's why I look at Mohamed Kudus. I think he's brilliant. I think he's got such a high ceiling. They're also linked to Michael Elise, the same as City. Again, I think he's really talented. But where's the experience? Sterling doesn't look very good to me anymore. He looks really... I thought he was going to do really well at Chelsea. He just looks a shadow of himself. Silva's quite old. Chilwell and Reece James are their next most experienced players. They spend a lot of time out injured. Where's the experience? Where's the older players? Where are the leaders in this Chelsea team to help them through adversity? That would be my concern as a Chelsea fan. They started this window off so fast, so quick, so well with getting rid of people. The fact that they haven't, there's no marquee signing, there's no experience. So it would be a worry for me. And what's hard about it is when you look at Elise and Kudus as individual players and signings, it's brilliant. But I don't see how they're going to gel this all together just yet. And maybe I'm being harsh. But I don't know. What do you reckon? It's
just a wait and see season for a minute. Last season was bad. It was a mismatch all over the pitch. Players didn't want to be there. Even Kovacic said this week in the press conference, I can't believe how good the City players got on with each other. So for me, that's a bit of a red flag for Chelsea and makes it sound like there wasn't that harmony in the squad. New manager, new ideas. They've got the talent. The squad on paper, when you write it down, is a fantastic squad. A lot of individual players there. It's just whether Poch can get them ticking over. I think after the season they've had last year, anything improving on that is a bonus for them. I don't think they're going to be challenging for the title. I think top 4 is a realistic target for them. We'll just wait and see. We just got to wait and see how it pans out at Chelsea. That it is what it is. I'm sure the Chelsea fans are just hoping they don't have a season like last year and they can improve on it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I know some Chelsea fans will see it as I'm shitting on their club. I'm really not, because I've been impressed with a lot of things that you've done, but I'm talking about the immediate impact and improvement. And I think that No way. I do not believe they're coming 12th again. I think they'll be well in the top half. I think they'll be in the top 6 conversation. But it's just, this is Chelsea, and they've spent 600-700 million pounds. They've become, over the last 20 years, one of the biggest football institutions in world football. And just being back in the top 6 is still a disappointing season. It's an improvement, but still a disappointing season. And they've got some really talented players in there with Enzo and Nkunku. I still think there's a player in Mahalo Mudryk. I watched him against Brighton the other day, and he looked quicker and stronger and sharper. And maybe if all these guys click and all these guys start performing, then there'll be no issues there. In terms of Arsenal, when it comes to this deal, it's an interesting one, because Arsenal and Chelsea seem to be interlinked with quite a lot of players. They're both linked with Lavio. It looks like he's going to Liverpool. Both linked with Kudus. Both now linked with Elise. When you look at Arsenal, how much more do you think they need ahead of the season to try and close that gap on you?
I think they've got the ability to do it. I think the players they've got are good players, and you look at the last season, they wasn't far off it. So it's not. I think Rice makes him a better player. I don't think Havertz does. I think Rice is an improvement. I think, I get that signing. I think Timber is better. I think last season what you got is, going into the business end of the season when he picked up some injuries, you've got Rob Holding playing, you've got Kiwior playing. They're not good enough, because what people need to understand is you can start the season fast and you can beat these teams. A lot of teams earlier in the season are not the same team at the end of the season. At the end of the season, in the last 12 games, when teams are fighting for relegation, Europe, new contracts, livelihoods are on the line, you're getting teams like Brighton and Southampton and West Ham turning up and getting points off you. But early in the season, you're rolling them over. So it's a mentality issue. I just think they've got to add a bit of experience. Zinchenko, Jesus have got the experience from City. You've seen how much they impacted the Arsenal team early in it. But near the end of the season, when a few of them got injured and they couldn't quite get Arsenal going, that's where they fell down. So I think Arteta knows that. I think he knows what he needs. I think towards the business end of the season, he needs players that are going to stand up and be counted and not panic. Like Jesus said, they got nervous. You can't have nervous players in a title race, because Manchester City aren't nervous. Manchester City are getting the job done. They thought that if they went out of every competition, then that would be an advantage. It was a disadvantage. So when they lost the game, they had 5-6 days to think about it, dwell on it, overtrain on it. Manchester City were playing every 2-3 days in competitions, keeping fit, keeping ticking over, winning games, getting momentum. And that's what I believe won us the league. And with Arsenal, that's why I think they fell. But Timber's a good signing. Rice is a good signing. Havertz, I'm unsure. And I think if they can get another striker in, if they can sell some Balogun, bring some money and get another striker in, maybe another midfield player. But, you forget they got Jorginho there. They signed him in January. He didn't quite get them over the line. I thought he was a player that could come in, steady the ship late in games, to keep the ball ticking over and get Arsenal the wins. But he didn't really do it for me. I think the January transfer window for Arsenal was a bit panicky, in my opinion. And we'll see. This is what I mean. So the talk is cheap. You can have the best transfer window in the world and win nothing. It happens all the time. You look at the teams. United finished second under Solskjaer. They signed Varane, Ronaldo, Sancho. Any team signs Varane, Ronaldo, Sancho after finishing second, you're thinking in your head, they're going to win the league. And you went backwards. So we can only judge it as speculation. We can look at it and think, they've had a good window. But it comes down to the games. It comes down to the league. It comes down to lots and lots of things. And I'm just can't wait for it to get going now.
Yeah, I'm the same. Listen, I love the transfer window and everything else, but when the games come back, we start getting some of our answers. It obviously changes the discourse of what we speak about. And look, it's a super chat here, actually, back to Chelsea that I don't want to ignore. It says, Terry, why do you always forget that Gusto and Nkunku, Jackson and Colwell are all new players into the squad? We have one game a week, don't need a big squad. So again, you're not listening to what it is that I'm saying. I know you've got new players, and I mentioned some of them. And I think you've got a lot of talented players. They're all very young. And I think you need a bit more experience. Your own manager, DJ, has come out and said that he is worried about the lack. And in fact, I'll get you his exact quote, just so you don't think I'm being disingenuous. And I'm talking about you having the very best season possible, not just improving. And what is it he said here? Let me find this from earlier on today because I quote tweeted it. Maurizio Pochettino via Tom Roddy, who's a very credible Chelsea journalist, has said that Maurizio Pochettino is growing increasingly concerned with the lack of experience in the squad and slow progression of signings. So the fact that Chelsea journalists are reporting this on behalf of Fabrizio, on behalf of Poch, it just echoes my concerns. Now, I know what everybody wants is they want everyone that sits on YouTube to say, I think you're going to be amazing. And I think you're going to improve. But I think you've got to add a bit more to that because you'll still go for adversity. And it isn't just one game a week. You're in the League Cup and in the FA Cup, and you're going to want to try and progress within that. And you will have some weeks where you play 2 games. Plus, most professionals say they prefer 2 games a week. It's easier to stay fresh and to stay fit. So, look, there's many caveats to that, but I'm not disrespecting you. I'm not ignoring what has come into your club. I'm stating I think you need to get back in the Champions League. I think you need to add some more experience to that team. So let's see what happens with it. There's a comment here from Chris. Chris says, I think City and United first and second. I think United are going to have a really good season. I hope you're right, Chris.
I've said Liverpool. I think Liverpool are going to have a good season. I think Darwin Núñez is going to have a great season. That's my opinion now. They can shoot me down if they want, but just through what I've seen, I think Liverpool will do okay. And I think Núñez, never seen a player get in so many goal-scoring positions last season and snatch it, chances and waste them because he was just too eager. If he can relax, then you don't get them chances because you're a bad player. And I think Núñez might be a surprise this season. So that's my opinion.
I think Liverpool, it's funny because when I tweeted today that about Amrabat rejecting the idea of going to Liverpool, and there's a Liverpool fan saying, I'm just saying it because I'm scared of Liverpool because Liverpool will be back next year. I wouldn't say I'm always fearing. Have enough to win the league with the new midfield they're building. It's a very talented midfield, but it's a little bit too inexperienced, especially if Lavia is going to be your main DM replacing Fabinho. He's going to have some great games. He's going to have some games where he's off the pace because he's young. And that's the thing. You can't have a young midfield without it making mistakes. And I think those mistakes will cost them from winning the league, but I think they can get themselves back into the top 4. There's no doubt. Right now, I think Man United will make it into the top 4 if we finish and completely sign things we're looking at. And I think Arsenal and City, I think that's going to be as of right now, that's my top 4, and nothing has changed my mind as of yet. And there's still more to do in the window. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, Chris. But thank you for that super chat. Arsenal number 1 here says Oil City needs to be punished for cheating.
Don't know who that is.
Yeah. Jamie here says, would it have been a better summer for Arsenal to have signed Caicedo for 100 million rather than Havertz and someone else for 100 million?
No, I think Declan Rice is a good signing. Like I say, he's an elite player. He's like, they needed him. But it worries me when they're coming out and saying they got kicked off the park off Man United because Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, they see me as like enforcers. If you're starting to get kicked around, get them boys in the middle and mix it a bit. But we'll see, innit? Listen, Declan Rice is a great player, and they've got him. They've got who they wanted. Now, if Arteta thinks he's got enough to win the league, then good luck to him. But we'll see.
Jamie also says here, if Madrid gets Mbappe, are they favourites over City for the Champions League?
Listen, Real Madrid in the Champions League will always be up there. Mbappe's class, you know what I mean? He's going to be brilliant. But I don't know, this Saudi Arabian deal's mad. I don't know how it's going to work. I think Mbappe comes with a lot of baggage. I don't think you're getting a straightforward player there. Everything seems to revolve around Mbappe and it's carnage. I mean, he's got to apparently get a loyalty bonus of 50 million if he stays till August at PSG. I just don't know. I don't know. He's a great player, but I don't know where he's going to end up. If he goes to Saudi Arabia at this age of his career, then, you know, it damage him. He needs to be in Europe. He needs to go Real Madrid or somewhere if he's not playing at Paris.
Yeah, look, he's going to stay and get his bonus the same way. I remember when Neymar left Barca and went PSG, it took so long. Also, and Duncan Castles actually did a podcast on this. And he said, yeah, we all knew that it was going to happen, but basically him and his father were owed like 50 million euros between them in loyalty bonuses if he stayed beyond like something like the 15th of August. So he basically waited till that date and then did the deal. And that's probably what Mbappe is waiting on. He wants that 50 million and then wants to go from there. In terms of City, though, you obviously linked with this move for Gvardiol, which hasn't happened yet, but most expect it to. £86 million top quality defender. There's also a lot of talk that you guys, might be a little bit off the boil next season with so many of your stars leaving. Are you worried about a lack of intensity, motivation, quality in your team and squad next year?
No, I've just watched them play 2 friendlies this week. Yokohama, who beat Celtic 6-3 or 6-4. They're in their season, so they're fitter than us. We played them. We won. We were 2-0 down at one point. We came back. He played 2 separate teams. We played really, really well. He's not took loads of youngsters away. He's only took 3 or 4. And we look good. Kovacic came in midfield, looks like he's been there for a while, keeps the ball moving. And then today against Bayern Munich, we were really good. Rico Lewis first half in midfield was outstanding. And then second half, Rodri and that came in, and we just do what we do. We get the job done. And when I said on the show the other week, I think we're going to be efficient, people were laughing. But I think the City are going and smashing people. We don't need to do that anymore. We can sit back with a back 4, not get caught on the counter-attack, slow the play right down, don't play with pacey wingers and get the job done. And we passed Bayern Munich to death second half, and we got the win. And like what you've seen against Real Madrid at the Etihad, when people were saying one of the best performances they've ever seen, Real Madrid got passed to death, didn't touch the ball 20-odd minutes, just getting dragged all over. That's the new Man City you're going to see. And Pep's happy with his squad. I do think they will be. I think Gvardiol will get over the line. What I was told is Gvardiol spilled the beans on something he shouldn't have done. Leipzig thought it was City who did it. There was a bit of a ding-dong going on about it, and it's all trying to be smoothed out. So I expect Gvardiol to arrive. And I'm expecting Kyle Walker to stay. The media are making it out he's going to go to Bayern Munich. I expect him to stay. Bernardo Silva will stay. And then I don't think we need anybody else. Man City fans are crying out for loads of signings. I don't think we need anybody else. I think Phil Foden can come into play into the middle. Rico Lewis can play in the midfield. We've got a lot of players that can play all over the park. So I don't think Man City fans need to panic. I think we're all right going into the season.
Yeah, I've read this week that Bernardo Silva will stay, which you kind of called a couple of weeks ago. I think for me, like I've done a few videos talking about it. I do feel that if Walker, Silva, Mahrez, Laporte, there's another name as well, that Gundogan all left, that would weaken you to a point where I still think
massive. They're never going to let that happen, Terry. They're never going to let 4 or 5 key players walk out that door without replacements, because a lot of them are under contract. There's only Gundogan that went away free. So people ain't paying the money for Bernardo Silva. Barcelona wanted him. They ain't got the dough. Kyle Walker, if he wants to leave, he can leave. But I believe he'll stay. And City are just ready to pounce. We've got the money there. We spent 25 million on Gvardiol, on Kovacic, and we've brought in nearly double that on the young kids, Shea Charles and all that we've sold. Diran Maboud's gone. Carlos Borges going West Ham. If Lavia goes to Liverpool, we get a percentage of that. So, City have got the money there. They're just waiting around, but we just don't buy for the sake of buying. We don't need to. Calvin Phillips, he's back. He's like a new player. He's had a couple of good games in the midfield now. So I think we're all right, Terry. I think you don't need to worry about Man City. You know what I mean? I think we know what we're doing.
Yeah, like I reckon you do, and I think that for me, you can only go by what the stories are out there saying. And as I stated in the videos that I did, if they allow that to go, it's crazy because it's too much quality, too much experience going at once. As you say, now the stories are kind of changing. Silva's going to stay. It looks like Walker's going to stay. That happens. Then adding someone like Elise to your squad that's been mentioned is not about. Again, if you let Silva and Mahrez go, and it's suddenly young Elise at 22 is the main guy on the right. There's a problem in terms of backup, and there's a problem in terms of experience. And you've got to get it right. And it looks like City are doing that. There's actually a comment that came in and said, Gvardiol is a luxury signing. City don't need him at the moment.
Well, we do need him because we don't have any left backs. Nathan Ake is not a left back, but he's playing there. Sergio Gomez has been playing there. He's a left winger. With Gvardiol, if he's playing 4 centre backs, he's left sided. Laporte may leave. He's left sided. Laporte's been tried at left back, can't really do it. So we do need him. He freshens it up. And a Gvardiol, Ruben Diaz central partnership. John Stones on the right, Nathan Ake on the left, or Ake in the centre with Diaz and Gvardiol on the left. It works. So he's a young centre back. You know, we're building for the future. We're replacing and building. So if Laporte is going, then his replacement is Gvardiol. 21 years old, is it? You know what I mean? Got a lot of potential. We'll recover a lot of money back off Laporte, who played well today, by the way, and scored the winner. So I don't know. City are relaxed with it all. You know, I just think people panic. Everyone wants transfers. It's part of the game. We love it. We all want them deals. But when you just won a treble, there ain't an awful lot to tweak. It's not like we've had a bad season and we've got a lot of problems and we need to fix it. We just need to tweak it. And Kovacic coming in makes us a bit better. But then we lose Gundogan. So does it level it off? So it is what it is. I seen a highlight reel of Gundogan yesterday and when I was working at City, and it was frightening. You forget a lot of the goals and a lot of the moments he produced, Gundogan, and he's going to be a tough miss. Yeah,
it certainly is. And look, I think I like the idea that City might let a few go, because I think it gives everybody a little bit of hope, and there's a little bit of a question mark, and it makes the conversations around football more fun. So yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see what happens. I don't think Gvardiol is a luxury signing. I think you're signing, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be a world record for a defender, but you've got to, again, if he keeps improving, in 3 years' time, he could be even more expensive. It's like the Hojlund deal. People keep saying he's not, it's 42. People keep asking me where I'm getting 42 million from. It's 50 million euros base with the potential of 10 million add-ons if we win major trophies. So it's 42 million pounds. I don't think in 2003 that's a crazy amount of money, but if he scores 20 league goals this season, he's going to cost us 65, 75, 85 million next year. And that's the thing with Gvardiol. So, Jamie, I get your point, but sometimes you've got to strike now, because Gvardiol could be worth 100 million pounds, next year, 105 million pounds if he has a brilliant season again. So, yeah, sometimes you've just got to get these deals done. This here says, Arsenal, we just didn't have enough quality in the end last season. Mentality chat is post hoc analysis. It is true what someone said earlier. No one will believe we can do it until we do it, is fair to say.
So on that one, if they'd have been winning games near the end of the season and gone down to the wire with Man City and just got beat, then I could say you lacked quality. But you literally dropped 12 points. A lot of them from winning positions, a lot of them from home games. That's a mentality issue. It's not quality. If you're losing points to Brighton, Southampton, West Ham, and you're losing points to Liverpool when you're 2-0 up, that is a mentality issue, because you've been in a winning position. Champions get them points in the bag. Champions get them results over the line. That's no disrespect. I'm just telling you the truth. I've been there myself and seen it. And it's a mentality issue. The quality in the squad that Arsenal have got is undeniable. Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, Partey, Gabriel, Saliba, Ramsdale, Zinchenko, Jesus. So quality ain't an issue. It was the final, when the chips were down and things don't go your way, you can either sit there and sulk and feel sorry for yourself and get beat, or you can pick yourself up off the floor and get the job done. And they didn't do that enough, in my opinion, last season. That's why they need to fix that.
Yeah, listen, I think mentality played a big part. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans. So Lee Gunner said it on the show yesterday, on Tuesday, and said that we need a prolific number 9 striker. And I understand that logic. But then I was looking, I just didn't notice this until yesterday. Goal scoring wasn't an issue for Arsenal in the majority of last season. It was mistakes in some crucial games, a few bozo moments from Gabriel, and maybe a little bit of the goalkeeper and midfield letting you down. I'm not saying you shouldn't add more goals to the team and more quality, but where I think Arsenal will improve this year is just Saliba being a year older. Declan Rice being a better midfield player than Granit Xhaka as an example. And I think that the Martinellis and the Sakas will go to another level. I think mentality will play a part in it as well. But I think it's a combination of both. They're both true. And yeah, you are right. Some people will not believe Arsenal can win it until they've won it. And that's absolutely fair. But most of those people probably believe you can do it, but they're never going to admit to thinking you can do it. You know, that's the way rivals typically work, my friend. But great super chat. Thank you very much indeed. There's a member chat here from Paul Brook who says, can Man United win the treble with all the new transfers? No. United are not ready to win no treble yet. And yet we'll be improved next year. We can enter the title race. We could even win a trophy. But the treble is an achievement that only 9 teams or so, and sometimes with the same club, have done in the history of European football. It's the hardest achievement in the game. So yes, we're not ready for that, in my opinion. Same Arsenal fans come back here saying, look, Steve, see your point about losing games. We shouldn't, but we lost a few of our key players and the backup players did not have enough quality.
Yeah, I see that. But you had a January transfer window to bring in backup players. You knew that if people getting injured, bring them in. You signed Kiwior, so there's your backup, not good enough. And Jorginho didn't produce. Man City got injuries as well. We were playing in every competition. We won a treble. But we got the job done. The pressure was on us. We were chasing you. You didn't chase us. We chased you. So the pressure was on us. If we slipped, drew, or anything, we was out of it. You know what I mean? You had the lead. And they all kept telling us that, you know, we've got the lead. We've got the points on the board. You know, you've got to catch us. And we caught you in the end of the day. So it doesn't matter now, does it? At the end of the day, the season's finished. We won it. You didn't. All I'm saying is, I believe you need a little bit of mentality to get over the line next season. And I'll be interested to see. I'll be interested to see the first 10 games, because I don't believe you're going to start like you did last season. I think there's going to be a couple of bumps, and I want to see how that affects the fan base and how that affects the atmosphere around. Is everyone going to panic and get on Arteta's case, or are they going to stick with it? Because if we'd have panicked last season at Nottingham Forest when we find ourselves 8-9 behind and Haaland can't hit a barn door because no one's passing to him, we'd have been out of it. But we didn't. We just carried on going because we knew what was coming. And Pep tweaked it and we got there. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I say, I love everyone backing their own team. I do. But I feel the Arsenal fans, not all of them, a lot of them put a lot of pressure on the team and the players, unnecessary pressure. You know, you only have to see this season they had, brilliant season, get beat off Brighton last game. Nobody in the stadium at the end, gone. So he didn't even clap the team off to say, fair play. We fucking fell short, but we've had a great season. Gone. All marched out the stadium and seen her ass. It was on live TV. So is that the right mentality from the fans?
Do you know about the pressure? Look, I can understand where you're coming from, because Man United fans do it. You know, I said earlier that there's a United account that I've started following recently, just because I don't agree with what he says, but I like to follow people and listen to people I don't agree with. And it's everything we do gets turned into a negative. You know, we want 45 million for McTominay, and it's seen as a disgrace because he might not leave for that amount of money, and we should just sell him dirt cheap. You know, the Rashford did his interview the other day, and he's angry because he literally tweeted that he was angry. He goes, I can't stand this guy, as in Rashford, because he celebrated a goal against Real Betis 4 days after Liverpool beat us 7-0. I'm sort of sitting there and I'm like, you do realize this weird pressure you put upon the team where you're angry that players are celebrating goals just because in the previous game we got battered. You're angry that the club is trying to get good value. The fact that Conor Gallagher is going to go for 45 million, you're angry that Man United are trying to get similar money for similar quality of players. Every single some of these people hyper focus on everything their managers say and almost take every word literally and try and hold them to account. So when a manager says, yeah, I'm happy with my squad, and then they might be losing a few games and say, yeah, you know, we really are lacking in a certain area, we want to improve it in the window. Well, you said you were happy, so therefore you can't moan now. And it's like, when I see fans behave that way, all I think you're really doing is you're detrimenting your club. I think your team needs criticism at times, but they don't need you to be angry about everything at every single moment. And I think if Arsenal do have a slow start to the season, or they lose two of their opening, say 6 or 7 games, if they panic, they could have a poor season, because we know that the players hear what's being said in the stadiums. They know what's being said online. it impacts them. They all talk about it now. You sometimes need to just criticize them, but keep a cool head. And I think the way you guys behaved last season, when it was looking like you might lose the title, the coolness you kept helps get your team through it. People remember 2 seasons ago when Real Madrid won the Champions League, and everyone was like, how did they get through those adverse moments against you and against Chelsea and PSG? Because their fans stay relaxed. Because their fans have been there, done it more than
about, right? Ask Daps. He's traumatized by that, yeah. In that last 2 minutes, that Bernabeu Stadium just went something I've seen it at Anfield once before, when something happens in the ground and like an energy comes and the team just go fucking mad. I've seen that at Anfield when we've played there in the Champions League, and I've seen it at Madrid, and them fans got them that win that day. And people slag Real Madrid fans because you go there and they're not like radical fans. They're just mad. They've got this mad, they wave their mad hankies about and little flags and that, but they got that mad song that they sing and that, and it just goes fucking crazy. And it is, and the fans got them over the line, and it happens. But what makes me laugh is, yeah, people in the chat saying, Big Steve is smug. Am I not entitled to be smug after winning a treble, Terrace? Am I not entitled to be smug after winning 5 of the last 6 Premier Leagues, following my team all around the world, every game this season, and winning the Champions League after having all that abuse about being a small team and you'll never win this? So let Big Steve be smug, yeah, because I could be a lot worse. Let me tell you that. I could be a lot worse, but I'm not. So let me have my moment. I'm on the top of the mountain at the minute. So you lot trying to throw stones and knock me off. So come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. That's all I'm saying this season. Man City, we ain't going away. We're doing it again.
Love it. This here says, yeah, okay, I take your point, but I just think the mentality and bottle chat is overdone. Also, I agree we won't start the way we did last year too. Thank you for those super chats. Really appreciate the donations, bro. This is a question for you from Vindaloo. It says, Steve, if proven guilty, what would the titles mean to you?
They'd mean everything. Everything. Because I've seen it all, witnessed it all. Navidad Street, Istanbul, FA Cup final against Man United. I mean it all. So if someone's made a mistake in the account room, financial irregularity or something in the accounts department, then that ain't going to affect me and my titles, mate. You know what I mean? So don't worry about that. There's no titles being stripped. Even if they're guilty of 115 charges, there's no titles being stripped. It's all financial crap. So, but if we're found not guilty, you're going to come on here and apologise and say all the nice stuff to me, but I doubt it.
LJ says, Steve, your thoughts about Rory Jennings' takes?
We spoke about him last time, didn't we?
I think so, yeah. A few weeks back, I think.
Yeah, he's been going on about City again, but...
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him.
Yeah, they're not a big club or something, or some shit, I don't know. But that's coming from a Chelsea fan, innit, you know. Before Chelsea was bought by Abramovich, Manchester City had won more trophies than Chelsea. So nobody talks about that. I've been to Stamford Bridge when Chelsea had 16,000 there and they had cars for sale around the pitch. But nobody talks about that. But I think they won 1 league title, 2 FA Cups and 3 League Cups before Abramovich. That was it. So Rory Jennings will do anything to get a reaction. He literally just speaks shit because it gets him a reaction. I'd rather sweep up shit, to be honest, and speak like that. You know what I mean? At least I'm getting paid for genuinely doing something for the community, but he's just mad. So if people want to listen to him, if that's how he's making a career and earning a living, then great. But the Haaland take, that should tell you everything you need to know about Rory. Simple as that.
And there we go. Viewers, I want to say thank you to all of you. Please hit the like button before you leave today. Please make sure you're subscribing to the show and got bell notifications turned on as well. Steve, and I'm sure we'll speak again this time next week, 3:30 on Wednesdays. Always a pleasure to speak football with you, my friend. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.